tripping out 'cause I shut the lights out.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason from EO7 Media, and today is January 2nd, 2023. And you know what that means? That means I'm a day late or 2 days late in content creation terminology for my 2023 goals. Now a lot of people out there will say they make resolutions for the new year. Well, resolutions, in my belief, make you feel like you can fail, like you feel like you're failing if you're not resolving yourself to do something, to do that big task that you're setting yourself out to, whether it's lose weight, do better business, make more money, whatever. But what it boils down to is if you set goals for yourself, I feel that it helps me much more. It allows me to stay on task and allows me to stay on target, and it allows me to have some flexibility in my goals that, hey, I'm going to set a lot of goals for myself, but if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to get down on myself. I'm not going to feel angry toward myself because it's a goal. And not only that, but that goal can go on to the next year and the next year and the next year, and we can keep growing off those goals. So that is why this is my 2023 goals. Let's go ahead and move in. And the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to look back and retrospect retrospect, that's not really the right word, but we're going to go back and retrospect what we did last year. I'm going to look at my 2022 goals video, and I'm going to react to that and see like what I did, where I'm at, how I did do this, or what happened and it might not have. But before we get into that, I do want to say that this is going to be a long form video cut down to many other short videos. And that's something you're going to see a lot from this channel moving forward, especially this year, is we're going to be creating a lot of long form content, whether it be talk shows or podcast kind of scenarios with video involved. But then from those long video content, we're going to chop those down into little bite sizes. For example, I love long form content. I like when I click on a video and it's like an hour, 2 hours long. That means I can sit and really digest what they're saying instead of just having this like little bite size bullet point information. And I like those too. But while I'm working, it's really nice to have these like long form content. So like while I'm sitting down eating dinner sometimes or lunch, I like having these longer videos that I can really enjoy. And if it's someone I enjoy on camera, all the better. So I'm hoping that's us here. And while you're at it, if you are liking this kind of content, make sure you do like and subscribe. It helps our channel greatly, and also lets us know what kind of videos we should be making rather than just the kind of videos that we like to be making. So make sure you do like and subscribe and comment, and I always make it a point to comment back. Now let's go ahead and jump in, and we are going to watch last year's 2022 goals, and we're going to see how I did. All right, so here is my video from last year. This is the 2022 New Year's resolutions, I call it. So let's go ahead and jump in.
Today's video is going to be more of a personal journey, as today I'm going to talk about my 2022 New Year's resolutions.
So the first thing I want to say is I'm really proud of myself for using the same intro video for all my videos this year. That was really cool.
What's up, everybody? My name
Secondly,
is
I really have to say, wow. Okay, first, awesome freeze frame. But look at all like the differences in the video. Like I like the darker look. I think it's more appealing to look at. And I got the different colors in the background. I got the plant, this side, same plant over here. He's actually done really big. New plant over here, different colors, new hat, same beard, same hoodie. I had no idea. This was not pre-planned. I wasn't going into this being like, oh, I'm going to match my look for last year. Literally, I woke up and I was like, oh, what's really comfortable and makes me feel happy to wear? That's what I wear. Different shirt. I'm wearing an AGFA shirt. It's a film collective. But okay, let's go ahead and jump back in.
So today's video is basically to tell you what my New Year's resolutions are and why I'm doing them. 50% of this is to keep on one of my New Year's resolutions, and then the other 50% is really to kind of keep myself in check, because if I'm letting the...
That's a really good point, and that's something that I really still believe in. I actually went back and watched this throughout the year last year to kind of make myself, hold myself to my own values, hold myself to my own accountability. And I felt that if I were to put out my goals, it would really keep me in check moving forward. And like if other people knew what I was doing, it would allow me to focus more on what I should do. And that's why I'm doing this video again this year. I believe that if I'm going to put this out there in the universe, someone's going to watch it. And whether they actually hold me accountable in words or not, I am being held accountable. So I think that's really important.
The world know about what I'm doing. It kind of makes it a little bit easier for me to stay in line with what I need to be doing. Today's video is going to be much more of a vlog oriented, not so much as a big edited piece. It's going to be more just me talking. So if that's not your thing, totally cool. Make sure you like and subscribe. Rex really wants you to like and subscribe.
We're going to go ahead and skip along some things. If I don't think it's really relevant, I'm going to go ahead and skip along. Let's get to the actual goals.
Basically, I have 3 categories of my New Year's resolutions, and each one has different subsects underneath it. The first section of my New Year's resolutions is financial. Now, I'm a nerd. I love buying nerdy things, from comic books to movies to toys and things like that. I need to really check myself on my personal spending. I tend to go into these little...
We'll definitely get to that in our goals for 2023, but that's definitely still on the docket.
Retail therapy modes where it's like, oh, I just need this one new Boba Fett action figure or this one new movie. And in the long run, I absolutely don't. So I need to keep myself in a personal check with buying stuff that I really don't need. And the next thing that obviously...
So how did I do with that? Well, long story short, I maybe shot about 50 other vlog videos, from new gear I bought to how to do this, how to edit, how to shoot, how to market, like all this stuff. I have about 50 videos literally on my computer right now that I've never been able to edit just because work got so out of hand and so busy. But a big chunk of those videos was new gear. I had a massive project fall onto us this past year, and it took a lot of time, but it also needed a lot more gear in the process. So staying on target with spending less, unfortunately, did not come to fruition. I actually spent more than I normally did in a year because of the projects. But to be completely honest, I also spent too much money on nerdy shit too. So I ended up buying nerdy stuff and stuff I really didn't need, but it did make that retail therapy mindset that much more. But again, we'll get into that in my 2023 goals, which I literally have as my first one. So let's go ahead and keep going.
Is gear. Do I really need that next piece of gear? Is it going to make my film life easier? Is it going to make my films better? Before I buy anything that I don't absolutely need right now, I take a second, I walk away, I close down the web browser that I was going to shop on, and I see if it's actually worth my time when I come back to it like a day later. And then we slip into the idea of the gear that I actually do need. Most of the time I'll need to buy something new for an upcoming gig, whether it's a presentation box, lighting, grip gear, a lens, or some kind of audio gear or something like that. But in the past, typically I'll have the meeting with the client, we'll go over everything, I figure out what I need to get, and I buy it before I even get the contract for the gig, and sometimes that's bitten me in the ass. So moving forward, part of the resolution is I will not buy the gear that I need until I actually have the gig I need it for. And that leads us
so good note on that is I did follow through with that. I didn't buy any gear that I didn't need for a gig that I got. For instance, we have 2 gigs coming up here in January. God, this month. Wow, that happened quick. We have 2 gigs coming up, and both of them are cross-country trips. It's something that we can't drive to, so we had to buy a bunch of travel gear, but I didn't even hit go. I didn't hit buy. I didn't hit like, yes, let's go ahead and jump in to get this gear until I had the contract and the down payment in. So the contract's one thing, but I needed the down payment so I could like physically and financially pay for this gear that otherwise I wouldn't need. Most of it's just travel stuff, like travel packaging and cases and stuff. But that's something I did hold on to. I did hold on to the I didn't buy it until I needed it. And it didn't feel like that this summer with the gig, but it did. I ended up buying stuff for the gig I needed.
Into the next section, work. The first part under work is this year I'm going to focus really heavy on my brand. In 2010, I started my business, NightOwlsMedia. That is an LLC. It's the main company I work under. But since then, we've rebranded and split our company into two different companies, with the wedding side being For Love Films and the corporate and commercial side being EO7 Media. So this year, I'm really focusing on building my brands and really giving it my all with social media and brand awareness. For those of you who might not know, I did a long-running online webcomic.
I really started off the year branding heavy. I jumped on later.com, which I absolutely love. I did a lot of other social media platforms that I haven't been doing in the past. I focused more on branding and getting our brand elements out there. However, once work picked up, most of that went to the wayside, unfortunately. We were able to get a lot more work this year. 2022 was hands down our busiest and biggest year ever. But at the same time, branding and marketing really took a giant back seat to that. And that's what we're going to get into our goals for 2023 on, because we have game plans, we have roadmaps, we have all these concepts and things set into motion now. So it's going to push that moving forward. But unfortunately, the branding and marketing for the own business took a backseat, unfortunately.
And it made me realize that this is not a job. I'm not being paid to do this. It was just for fun. And I need to really focus on my work, because that's what, can pay my bills. That's what can take care of my family. Part of the focusing on the business and the social branding.
Before we get too far down this rabbit hole, this year was heavily focused on work. I had to give up my webcomic. I gave up doing my personal podcast for a few reasons, and I'm going to start it up again here soon. But what it boiled down to, I need to make sure I'm in focus here. But what it boils down to is I needed to focus on work, and I absolutely did. 2022 was a work-centric year. Unfortunately, we had a lot of family issues that got backed up due to work, which really sucked. But I was able to come through in the end and make up time. But it never really makes up time, Again, that's something else we'll get into in a little bit. But I did focus on work. Work was pretty central focused.
Everything is to get the attention of more clients, get the attention of more partnerships with other businesses, trying to get my name out there into a wider audience with people that I haven't met yet and fields that I haven't even looked at yet. And then every day I look at myself and I make a list of things that I can do better, whether it's doing things faster, more efficiently, reading more, things like that. But every day I look at myself as, what can I do better? So that brings us on to
So I absolutely did that. I stayed up on that. I have a dry erase board over to my side over here, basically telling me, what can you do to make yourself better today? And I have a list of things like watch YouTube videos, read blogs, read content, understand what you're actually doing, not just rely on the fact that you know what you're doing. Constantly keep learning. And that's something I tell my students too when I teach, is you're never going to stop learning. You're never going to stop being academic in your line of work, because the moment you do is you fall behind everyone else and you're not picking it up. For instance, I refused to get on TikTok for years. And after actually understanding the algorithm of the social media and how it can help brand platforms and marketing goals, it is a giant tool that I wasted time not knowing. So it is important to keep learning these aspects and keep pushing myself to be better. And that's why every video I ever make, I always end with be better and do something awesome today. It makes you think like, hey, being better is a fantastic goal in mind for anything in life, but doing something awesome, like whatever you're doing, Make it awesome. Like if you're going to go have lunch, go have a lunch you're actually going to enjoy. Go have a great meeting. Don't go into a meeting just thinking like, oh, it's another meeting. No, have the best meeting ever. Push yourself to have that epic, awesome meeting, or anything. Even if it's like a simple little YouTube video like this. Like I didn't have to do the background here, but I took half an hour to create a background that I really liked. And here, you can see it. Look there's my 2023 goals background that is just being covered up for this whole video. So kind of like with that in mind, I did keep pushing myself. I did keep trying to be better. Now, did I do it every day? No, I did not. So I need to be better there, and I'll get better.
Next topic under work is I watch or I read something to better me and my business every day. I am constantly hunting for vlogs and articles and podcasts and blogs to try to read up on business and marketing and videography and consumer-based habits, trends, things like that. Anything to kind of boost my knowledge about my own business and my lifestyle in that business. Number 3 under work is to create more.
I do kind of like that I talk the exact same. Like, no, nothing's changed there. Like, long-winded, get to the effing point. Let's move on. But that's why I'm also making the cut-down videos of all these. I'm not keeping it, in one lump sum anymore. So, yes, and that's exactly what I was just saying was, hey, I should be learning. I should be watching something. I should be reading something. I should be trying to better myself and my business. And now that we have more people in this business rather than just me, it's even more important than ever to keep learning and keep on top of things.
More content. I have multiple brands going on at the same time. 3 of those brands are actually work related. I have the wedding and family side of the video and photo business. We have the commercial and corporate side of the video and photo business. And I also do a small batch beef jerky company as well. And I also have about...
On that note, unfortunately, prices skyrocketed this year, and the beef jerky company had to take a giant back seat. Prices on meat and everything just went through the roof. And even though it doesn't really look like it, the amount of meat we need to make the beef jerky went crazy. So we had to push that off, and I really focused on what was basically making it available, making it actually worth doing in order to give to my family, to provide for my family and my family's needs. That's really what took a front seat to everything I did this year. So I think I go into that right here.
More other things going on, but those are side projects, and they all have their own Instagram and they all have their own followers and everything else. But those are just for fun.
On that note, I started 4 more Instagrams this year just because I really like what I do. I really love the stuff we make for work, but as an artist, I feel like I constantly have to create other types of art all the time. So I started up a conceptual Instagram using AI art. I started up another gardening channel. I started up a channel with my wife where we review movies and snacks and we talk about movies. And it's getting little to no traction, but we're not really advertising it. We're just doing it for fun because I feel like I have to constantly create. So I ended up doing a lot more this year than just work. But what those side projects do is they fuel my creative energy to come back to the work and work even harder. Because usually what I'll do in those side projects is I'll experiment a lot more. I'll try things that I've never done before with editing, with color correction, with sound, with graphics, with shooting. I actually tested a lot of things shooting, trying to make it simple and engaging at the same time. And then now I'm bringing that back into my business videos as well.
So instead of focusing my attention on the fun stuff that I can do on my off time, I'm telling myself I really need to focus on my brands that are, in fact, a growing business. But having those little side creative projects, like my other Instagram accounts where I review movies and TV shows. I have another Instagram and YouTube channel where I talk about gardening. I have another Instagram channel where we just make funny little videos that the world will probably never see, and that's totally fine. I have an Instagram just for my cat and his daily life. But doing those side projects keeps me...
No lie, my cat's Instagram took a giant dive. I totally stopped doing it. Everything else I kind of keep doing. But yeah, my cat's Instagram really took a backseat.
Creative of when I need to go back to my business side of things, and it keeps my attention going because it makes me more fueled to do more creative things. But I need to make sure that I don't focus on those side projects. I'm focusing on the work ones, and the side projects are just that, side projects. Number 4 of my work resolution, I have to have a new morning routine. We have a lot of special needs cats in our house, from diabetics to injuries to neurological disorders, everything else. And every morning we have to give them medication. So I'm up at 6 o'clock every morning regardless, because some of the medication needs to be given at a very certain time. So that allowed me to start my workflow and my work routine much easier. So I'm up giving all the medications out, and then I go make myself a drink every morning. And if you follow us on EO7 Media on Instagram, you will know that every morning I make a new drink, whether it be tea, coffee, or whatever, and I tell you exactly what kind of drink it is and where I got it from, and my goal is to try as many different things as I possibly can. So after I get my drink, I wake
before I go off on this whole bender about tea, because I did this at the beginning of the year, and I really want, like, I was so addicted to like all different kinds of tea at the beginning of the year and posting about it, and then I realized I don't think anyone ever gave a shit. So as for the morning, oh God, I'm forgetting words here. As for the morning routine, yeah, my cats are still diabetic. They're still neurological. There's still so many medications our cats are on that need to be done in the morning. And because of that, I am up every day at 6:30 to 7 in order for them to get their pills and their shots and their medications and everything else. But that allows me to also wake up and enjoy the time with my wife as well. So not only am I taking the time to bond with my animals that much more, but I'm also bonding with my wife before she goes to work. And when she goes to work, that's when like my morning routine stops being about me and clicks over to work. And that has been fantastic. It has been amazing. I'll wake up, I'll make my tea, which has changed to a matcha latte tea now every morning. But I'll spend the time with my pets. I'll spend the time with my wife. We shoot the breeze for a little bit. We play our games in the morning. We talk about what we're doing for the day. And then I kiss her every morning. I hug her every morning as she's going out to work. I like to make her laugh before she goes to work. And as I say goodbye, my very next thing is literally I turn around to my cats, who are my office managers, and I say, come on, guys, time to go to work. I come into my office. I sit down. I set up a morning routine on my Alexa. Don't answer. I know you'd stop. Nothing. I knew it was going to go off. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I set up a morning routine where I come in here and I say, start my day. It turns on my lights. It tells me the news for the day. It tells me like a little motivational quote, and it opens up one of the things I bought this year was a Elgato Stream Deck. And this has hands down been one of my absolute favorite things that I bought. Mostly, to be honest, for the fun stuff I can do with it. Like, for instance, I had a little too much fun creating my own wallpaper here, where I created the studying girl with the lo-fi hip hop, and it animates. And literally, I just have this sitting next to me while I work all day. And it sounds silly, but it's one of those things that really kind of like allows me to play around with technology, but then it slips into what can I actually do to make this more beneficial, not only for work, but for like my life as well. So I set up a morning routine where it the Amazon thing turns on my lights, it turns on my computer, it turns on other lights in my room, and it gives me all this stuff. But then it opens up my my internet browser, my Chrome, to my email, to my social medias, to the YouTube channel, and I want to see everything before I start my day because I want to know where I'm at. I want to get all my emails done that I haven't checked yet since I went to bed the night before. I want to check all my analytics on all my social medias, and doing all this with one word has instantly made my morning routine not only easy, but fun. And it really compacts my day, and it makes me feel like I'm actually doing something and starting something, not just going to work, but I'm starting work. And that's the difference. You go to work in the morning, to go to work. But if you start work, I start work literally right before I sit down in my chair. And that's the coolest feeling in the world, is I'm engaged. If I have all this information at the touch of my fingertips without having to do this, I can just say one thing and have it all start up. My day is moving along perfectly. So I have that, and it's beautiful. It's having the morning routine, from the drink in the morning to saying goodbye to my wife and spending my time with my family there, and to starting work has absolutely changed my focus on work.
Up with like a morning puzzle on my phone. I'll play a quick game of Sudoku, or I'll read some news, kind of to get my mind.
100% stopped doing that. And really what it came down to was, I have a video game I play on my phone, which we will get to in my goals moving forward. But unfortunately, the mind puzzles took a back seat to something more monotonous and shitty. But again, we'll get to that in a second. All right. And feed the beast.
Going for the day. And then after my wife leaves for work, I come into my office here. I check up on all of my feeds. If I get an email that I need to respond to right away, of course I respond to it as fast as I can. Any kind of messages on any of my socials, I respond back. And then what I do is I do my 90 cents. This is a term I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk, where he said, every day you should give 100 people your 2 cents, like your 2 cents of your opinion. I tried doing the 100 people per day of giving an engagement, giving a conversation piece on social media every day, and it's exhausting and it's tough. Okay. And
so this really took a giant step back. I did not do this. I did this for about a month, and then I did it probably once every 2 or 3 weeks if I was lucky. When busy season really took off in June through September, I don't think I did it once. And that, I think, is a major problem. I am going to be doing this moving forward. This is one of those big things that I think is going to help, but I didn't do it right. So I'm going to do it moving forward.
I recommend you try it. It's a lot harder than you think it is to keep it up. I think I did it for 2 weeks and I got burnt out really fast. But I decided, if I can't do 100, I can at least do 50. So I give my 90 cents per day, some kind of comment, some kind of interaction, some type of engagement, whether it be people I know or people I don't know. And I'm constantly trying to be the mayor of any type of social media that I'm on. So I spend about half an hour to an hour doing that every morning. And then I go into my bettering myself. I'll read a blog, I'll watch a vlog, I will read an article, I will do something like that to better my business. And then I'm getting excited, I'm getting pumped up, I'm getting psyched. And then I go back to my emails, I check everything, and then I jump into work for the day. Having that kind of structure really focuses me and allows me to do my job better and create more content and focus on what needs to be focused on, rather than sitting around wondering what the latest movie trailer out right now is. It allows me to keep focused on my work. Number 5, and definitely my most important New Year's resolution of the work area, is I'm not going to concern myself with numbers this year. I want to create content. I want to put stuff out into the world, and I want to try and help other people where I can. But really,
no joke, this was probably the best thing I did last year. And it's something I'm definitely going to take to heart moving forward as well. Not caring about the numbers allowed me to stop worrying and stressing about, quote unquote, making it. There's always like this overlooming fear of failure, especially in my life, but I think in a lot of people's lives. And when you set yourself up for greatness, like trying to become, the next YouTube star or whatever else, I think what happens is, if you don't make it, you end up really kind of like feeling like you failed. And that's not the case, So what I did was I focused on not caring about the numbers. I didn't care about the likes. I didn't care about the views. I didn't care about the subscribers. And literally what happened was I went from 790 subscribers on my main channel to almost 1,400. Now I'm still waiting on the whole monetizing thing from YouTube. I sent my thing in 4 months ago, and they say it could take a couple days, up to like a week or two to get it processed, but I've been waiting for 4 months. So, but that's like a whole other thing. We'll get to that later. Not in this video, but in another video down the line. So when I stopped caring about the numbers, what it really did was it fueled me to stop worrying and start focusing on what needed to be done. I didn't care about getting the next subscriber. I didn't care about like, well, I can subscribe and do all this shit. What I did was, what's the next video I could do? So while I was working throughout the year, I'd be editing something, right? And during the edit, I would kind of like break down, like something hit a roadblock and I had to figure it out, and I overcame it. And I said, well, let's take a quick break right now. I signed off my work clock and I turned on this setup right here, and I said, let's make a quick video. And I would shoot the video really quick, and then I would go back to my work. And some of those videos have made it online. Some of them are still waiting to be edited, but it allowed me to focus more on the content I was putting out or content I was creating, and less on, will people like this? It's not about, or this past year was not about, will people like what I'm doing? It's, hey, I'm figuring something out. I hope this helps someone else. And that allowed me to create more. It allowed me to do more, and allowed me to not have the stress and anxiety of, am I pleasing my audience? Now, we are going to get into that again in my 2023 goals, but hands down, this was the best thing that I did for my own work value that I did last year. And it's something that I'm going to take moving forward indefinitely.
I want to have fun doing this. If you're a creator of any type of medium, you know you got into this because it's fun. It is so rewarding and so amazingly fulfilling to create something and put it out in the universe. Whether people like it or not, that's kind of what I'm trying to get across to myself, that it's not that important. But it's important to reach out and create something. So everything I create this year, I'm really telling myself to not check the numbers, to not check the views, to not check the likes, things like that. My goal is just to keep creating, to keep publishing, to keep doing more stuff. And of course, on that note, make sure you like and subscribe. Because how am I supposed to know if I'm doing any good if I don't have the validation of tons of invisible internet points? I just blew any credibility. The last section of my New Year's resolution is what I'm calling myself. Under my self resolutions, I want to focus on bettering my health. And that includes both physically and mentally. I did the keto diet for a long time, and the effects of it are just amazing. Yes, you lose weight and you feel better because you lose weight, but it's like this mental clarity that happens when you stop feeding junk into your body. And I want to get back into that. So we started that, but I'm going back into it slow. Because we all have stressful days, and some people deal with stress differently.
Fell off of that one. We started doing keto, started doing it really well. I think I've done it 4 times now. You lose a lot of weight, but that's not, again, like I said in the video, that's not the real value of. The value is, better sleep, better clarity. You actually feel better, but really what it boils down to is I wasn't enjoying anything. I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy on keto, and I would rather be a little bit chubby, which, as you can see, I've gained a little weight from last year. I'd rather be a little bit chubby than upset with my next meal and not really having anything to look forward to. And I'll tell you what, garlic bread and pizza, oh man, that is something to look forward to. And I say this literally having Chinese food right next to me. God. All right.
Some people drink, some people will exercise. I like to eat, so I'm trying to curb that, but at the same time, I'm very much still needing that outlet of, hey, I want a little bit of joy in this junky food, but I need to remind myself that that's not good for me, and this is what's good for me in the long run. The other aspect is my mental state, and we've all lived through COVID. We've all lived through this wonderful time period of the last 2 years, and I think a lot of people are realizing that self-care is much more important than we ever made it out to be. And I think self-care...
Okay, perfect freeze frame. That's, oh God, it's like sensual. Yeah, I think self-care, I did a lot more self-care this year, and what that boiled down to was taking time for myself, like having a break, going out and grabbing a coffee, walking around, playing with my dog. Watching a movie. Doing that really kind of allowed me to understand what was more important, and it allowed me to really understand what was important for me, not just as a whole, but like what really was of value to me. And that leads us into like one of the goals for this year is where, what is really important and how should we focus on doing that? So the self-care aspect, I really took seriously when I could. We had a lot of gigs this year that were extreme last minutes, and that was rough, but, the self-care aspect is really important, and I'm highly believing that moving forward. And this comes from decades of me saying, screw my body, screw everything else. I need to focus on what is important, like work-wise. So I'm really kind of understanding it, whether it's age or our environment we're living in now, post-COVID, what really is important to the self ends up being important to the unit. If that makes sense. Like if I take care of myself, my family's being taken care of. If my wife takes care of herself, I'm being taken care of as well. So it goes hand in hand with like a mutuality. Is that a word? It goes hand in hand with it goes hand in hand together with other things that make everything else better.
Is vitally important. So every day I'm doing something to take care of myself. So, and this also includes going to see a doctor, which as a human being, you should, but we push off as much as we can. So number 2 in the self section is more family time, whether this be time.
Before we get into family time, I went to the doctor more this year than I think I ever have any other year I've been alive. And it's basically to make sure that I'm healthy. I apologize for burping like that. This will definitely be cut out of the shorter versions, but you're getting a treat here. I went to the doctor more. I went to the dentist more. I did all this stuff that was really important for my health because, you should, like I said, but it's getting older. It's also, I should be doing this stuff. And because it's not just for me, it's not about my health. It's about, am I going to be here to take care of my family? And when that comes into play, when you understand that aspect, there's no question. So I'm really glad I did that.
With my wife, Andy, or time with my cats and my dog, I think it's very important to realize who's around you and the positivity that other people give you, and the people who really care about you, those are the people you should be focusing on, whether they're people or not. After the loss of our cat.
Yeah, that's totally going into one of my goals for this year because I didn't do that enough. I wish I can say I did. I tried to. I really did. I tried to, but I didn't do it enough. So there's going to be more on that later.
December 2020. It really kind of emotionally solidified what was most important, and that's family. After he died, I remember coming home and thinking, none of the bullshit is important. What's important are these moments in time, are these aspects and these little chunks and snippets of time where we're all together, and that's what I'm trying to be better at. Number 3 of the self-care is self-time. So unless I have a very strict deadline and I'm on crunch mode or I've been procrastinating
Before I go into that, my cat dying a couple years ago, I know a lot of people will think like, oh, it's a cat. One, F you, sorry. But my family is my family, you know, and family's not one that's born with you. Family is one that is made around you. And my cat dying was really an eye-opener to understanding what was important. And I hold that every day with me, every single day. His time with us and then his passing made me think that, okay, it's not a want to, it's I need to spend time with my family because that's important. I mean, some of you guys might have kids, and we don't have kids. We have a menagerie of a zoo and my wife. And that's what's most important to me, is having that, my pack.
A video project or something like that. I'm cutting myself off at 7 p.m. every day from work so I can go and make dinner with my wife, I can spend the time with my cats, and I can kind of decompress for a couple hours before I have to go to bed. But it's really putting the priority on my family, and that's making me feel better and stronger and more competent. So when I come back to work...
I did do this. I did try to, whenever my wife came home and we would make dinner, or she would make dinner, she really likes making dinner. That's not, please don't take that as like a sexist thing. She loves making dinner and I don't. So when she would get home, I would put a pause on what I'm doing, or I'd find a stopping point, and then I would go out and we take care of the cats and the dog and, you know, talk about our day and stuff like that. And I think that really helped. That was really nice. But there were many times where we had these elongated projects, these videos that needed to be done at a certain time. And because of that, I just worked from when I woke up to when I went to sleep. And, you know, there were times when I started to fall asleep in here and I had to call myself off the bed, but that's not the point. Excuse me. The point is, I did start spending more time with my wife when she got home. And again, that's something else that I want to push forward more, going in the future.
I feel that much more ready to go. I think it's really important to have that cutoff time and time for yourself. And lastly, part 4 in the self-care section of my New Year's resolution. If you followed me for a while, a couple years ago, I showed you my morning mantras.
As soon as I enter my office, I'm holding my coffee or tea in my hand, and I turn around and there's my cork board, and this is what I say out loud every morning. And it gets me motivated to do more work, to do better work, and to be better.
And they have really...
3 videos, 3 years, same hoodie. I'm waiting for my sponsorship check here, guys.
Really helped a lot in my daily life, but I added new mantras to my morning routine, and they're definitely more based toward me, but they really help. And if it's okay with you, I will read you my mantras. You can't grow if you're comfortable. All growth depends upon activity. There is no development physically or intellectually without effort, and effort means work. Go where the demands are high. Go where the pressure is to perform. The secret to success lies in the very thing you're avoiding. If you aren't growing, you're in slow motion liquidation. Who the hell am I in this scenario? Basically, this is putting me into a scenario where I realize that I'm putting myself in check. I'm judging someone else, and then I say, oh, who am I to judge this other person upon their actions? I am not them. I am me, and I am good enough. I mean, it's so easy in our line of work to compare.
These new mantras, they've really allowed me to calm the hell down, especially like in traffic and when I'm downtown Chicago and I have to deal with people who are just, you know, the rudest people on the planet. It really kind of projects a mindset of who the hell am I in this situation? You know, I'm not them. They're not me. You know, I'm the person I have to worry about. So these mantras have really, really helped in every aspect of my life.
Ourselves to other creatives. If you're a photographer and you follow a amazing world traveling photographer who shoots, you know, around the globe and all these different events, and you're saying, well, I'm not as good as them. Well, you're not them. They're not you. they haven't walked
This one I still have trouble with from time to time, and I tell myself every day that they're not me and I'm not them. And that's okay. You know, not all of us are the same people doing the same thing, the same kind of work. But I still struggle with it. I still look at other people's social accounts and I look at other people's videos and I'm like, well, why am I not that good? You know, why am I not getting those clients? So, it's stressful. It's rough, but I am on the road to try to be better.
in your shoes. What I'm starting to realize for myself is I'm not them. I'm me. And what I'm doing is great. And it's making me happy. And for work, it's making my clients happy. And for my own life, it's making my family happy. That's what's important. My opinion is number one. I'm the only one that has to live with myself. No matter what you do, you will always hear critiques, whether it be for your work, for your attitude, anything like that. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that your opinion on anything that you are doing, whether it's you creating or you putting something out into the universe, an opinion, yada, yada, your opinion matters for you the most. Having other people judge you, that's a byproduct and it shouldn't affect you, but it always does. So if someone doesn't like these videos, that's fine. This is helping me make my day better too. It's not about creating.
That is 100% still a hardcore belief with me. And then pushing that aspect this past year has really helped. It went along with the whole idea of don't care about the numbers, is if you don't care what people think of you, you're just going to keep making stuff. You're just going to keep going. And of course we all care about what people think of us, but in the long run, what's most important? You know, like when you're creating, like let's say you're creating content for your brand and you're trying to get stuff out there, but you're so worried about that one video you made. It's like, no, just try and stop it. And that's helped me tremendously. So yeah, this right here is 100% super helpful.
Content. It's about me following a routine and enjoying getting to play with cameras and audio and editing a little bit. It's 100% fun. My opinion is I'm having a blast doing this. And at the end of the day, I have to be the one who lives with these choices.
Bingo.
Because if I didn't do this and I sat around all day thinking, I really should have made that vlog, I'd be spending energy worrying and dreading the fact that I didn't do something rather than just doing it. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to edit this very quickly, put it up online. If no one watches it, that's cool. If you do watch it and get something out of it.
And on that note, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm going to edit this very lightly because in the middle I got up to get a drink. I've burped a couple times. I'd like to edit those out. Probably not all of them because my goal is to get this done. And I have 2 other videos I want to make today. So I want to get this done and I'll come back to this and chop this up like I talked about earlier. So you might be seeing this long form. You might be seeing this short form. But what matters is I'm making it and I'm enjoying it. Love that.
That's amazing. On that note, what are your New Year's resolutions? Write down in the comments either your New Year's resolutions or what are some of your mantras? What are some of the things that make your days better?
So we're getting to the end here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. This is the capper, and that's something I'm going to be doing more pushing forward too, is I want to engage more. This year I engaged a lot. I made it a personal goal to every time someone would comment on a video, I would write them, whether I knew the answer or not, whether it was helpful or not, whether it was a mean comment, I would still try and write back, but I commented on everything. That is my reaction video for my 2022 resolutions. I'm still going to call them goals because I'd rather have the goal mindset. And stay tuned to watch my 2023 goals. Again, I am going to go through it like this. It's going to be more of a vlog style, and then it's going to be very lightly edited. If you would like to watch the more polished edit, come back in a couple days. It'll be done. Or if you're watching this in the future, or if you're Marty McFly, go ahead and click on a link in the doobly-doo down there, and you can just watch the fun little edited, easy to digest version rather than me meandering for an hour. All right, guys, thank you so much. What did you think about some of the stuff that I talked about? Last year's goals. Do you think that some of them were some of them could work for you. What did you do last year what were your goals last year that helped you push into who you are now? Did you stay true to them? Did you find new ones along the way? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear it. And like I said, every comment I get, I will respond to. Guys, thank you so much. I've been Jason. Stay tuned for the next 2023 goals. Be better and do something awesome today.